What is good, Guardians? Soldier Only here from Sports Nerd Web with today's episode of Destiny Unplugged. In today's episode, I wanted to get into Destiny's story, their narrative, and the problems that a lot of Destiny's players have with it. Now, in Destiny, in the vanilla Destiny and just the base game, I can agree with a lot of the story issues that players had with it. It was really light on narrative. There wasn't a lot of cutscenes. It was just really light, and it just ended really soon. I will say this: as the game has progressed, and as we have gotten 2 years deeper into it now, and as these expansions that have came out, it has gotten progressively better and better, each one. For instance, in the Taken King, well, actually, for starters, we'll go back to like House of Wolves and the Dark Below. It got a lot better there. You know, there was an actual beginning, middle, and end. Taken King, it definitely got a lot better. It had that really great opening cinematic. There was more cinematics in that opening in Taken King. There was more cinematics in the Taken King than there was in the entire base of vanilla Destiny. And as far as the new expansion, Rise of Iron, goes, it is really short, but I think it's the best story that Bungie has told up to this point with Destiny. There was even moments in that story arc that actually kind of gave you the feels, and you actually felt bad for Saladin. A lot lately, listening to a lot of like Destiny podcasts and just like a lot of the criticisms that you hear thrown at the Destiny story and the narrative, and pretty much for the lack thereof there was in the beginning. One thing that I will say is, I mean, there's so much to do in Destiny. There's so much game types, and when you look at the Destiny community and the player base, there's so many different types of players that are in it. So not everybody wants, a big, deep, crazy story or all this narrative shoved down their throat. So I think it is kind of a neat move. How Bungie, like how you collect these Grimoire cards, and if you want the narrative, then you can get it. If you are really into that lore, you can get on Bungie.net and read all the lore on the Grimoire cards. So in that aspect, I think Bungie did get it right in that aspect, because like when you don't want something, like you don't want it to be constantly put in front of your face, so I can agree with that. Me personally, I do love the lore. I do love games with a story, with one of my favorite games of all time was a game earlier this year, Uncharted 4, and in that game, every game in that series actually had a really good story, but Uncharted 4 especially. But yeah, so the lore is there if you want to get it. But personally, I would like to see more cutscenes, and better stuff like this. And like I said, Destiny has all this lore now. They have established a lot of stuff already where they can draw from in the future. One thing I will say right now, there is kind of a lot of these just hanging plot lines that are just left open right now. Like what happened to the Awoken Queen? Is she still alive? Her brother? What happened to that? Who's the stranger? I'm really interested in the future to see what comes of the stranger. I'm really curious about all that. So, but the good news is that it does seem like Bungie has gotten the hint that the community and the people playing Destiny really do want a better and more cohesive story, and they actually don't mind cutscenes and all that stuff. And it is kind of interesting that vanilla Destiny was really light on it, because when Destiny first came out, they didn't really expect it to be this big PvP game that blew up, that it has became to be. So, but yeah, like I said, it has gotten better. It has gotten progressively better every single expansion and stuff. So the future is definitely looking bright for Destiny. I can't wait for Destiny 2. I've already made a video, about some of the rumors and stuff that is going on surrounding that. You can check that out. We've actually done it on one of our podcast episodes, and actually on the first episode of Destiny Unplugged. So yeah, you can check it out on the channel. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this episode on the narrative. And I think that it has got the narrative in Destiny has gotten, kind of a bad rap. It is pretty much one of the main complaints that players do have with the game. I mean, obviously everything else in it is amazing. The gameplay, the gunplay, and everything in it is incredible. Obviously, another biggest complaint that I have with Destiny, probably the biggest, is the netcode and the connection issues and all that. And I'm sure that will be addressed in Destiny 2 as well. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes with all of this as we move along into next year and the inevitable sequel. I kind of am expecting it to be dropping probably fall of next year. So, but yeah, stay tuned to the channel. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd48. I always tweet out when I go live at twitch.tv/soldieronly. Comment, like this video if you like it, give it a thumbs up. Comment on down below and let me know what you guys think about the narrative, and get a conversation going on that. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Destiny Unplugged.